Foulstrand! Have you landed here?
Yes. You see me before you.
Is this Fairhaven?
Slightly off, my guy. This is Foulstrand.
Then we have lost our way.
Sounds like it. We? Well, shall I not be, introduced?
It's not appropriate, I feel. She is the daughter of heaven.
Heaven's daughter? Ha! That's a funny thing. Well, are you not surprised to see me like this?
I am past 50, my friend. At my age, surprise has little part to play in my life. I had assumed it was for one of those parties you find yourself at.
That in part is true, and I hope you can both come along.
I'm sure whatever it is, it's far better than this place. Who lives here, anyhow?
The sick. They're the healthy.
Nothing but the poor here, I imagine.
Quite the opposite, my boy. It is here you find the rich. The one I have on the rack at the moment. Too much burgundy and truffles and foie gras. His feet have knotted.
Knotted?
Yes, knotted feet. And the one under that guillotine-like thing. So much brandy gone through his gums that his backbone has to be mangled straight again.
There is always something wrong with everyone.
Something wrong with everyone, and something to hide, too. Look at this one here.
Look there! It's our old school friend, the Major General.
Don Juan, we call him. You can see he's still doting over that old creature beside him. He doesn't see her age, or her plainness, or her infidelity, nor her cruelty.
Yes, well, that is love. I didn't have such a fickle guy down as being so emotionally constant.
That is a mighty decent way of looking at it.
I've been in love with Victoria for years myself. In fact, I'm still waiting for her in the passageway.
My folks told me of that story. That was you. Well, have you got that door open yet?
No, the case is still in court. And the bill post is out fishy again, so the evidence can never be collected. The glaziers fixed all the windows in the castle, and that's grown half a story higher. An uncommonly good year. Very wet. Very humid.
But if it's all the same, you have had no heat like what we have here.
What, with the ovens?
When we fumigate the suspects, we run it up to 140 degrees.
Cholera again?
Didn't you know?
Of course I knew. But I forget so often what I know.
I wish I could forget things all the time, especially myself. That's why I dress down like this, and go to parties and masquerades and carnivals and amateur theatrics.
What have you been up to then?
If I told you, you'd say I was boasting. If I hid it from you, you'd call me a hypocrite.
And this is why you go around like that?
Exactly. Abase myself so I can't be accused of hubris.
Who's that coming here?
Oh, the poet. Come for their daily mud bath.
They should be having a light and air bath instead.
Not at all. They spend so much time in the loftier climes that they grow tired and homesick for the mud. Also, wallowing in mud makes the skin callous like a pig's. All the more useful for enduring the stings of wasps down the line.
This is a strange world. Full of contradictions.
Man was created by the got tar out of clay on a potter's wheel, or a lathe, or any damn thing. Out of clay, just the sculptor create his more or less immortal masterpieces, which mostly are pure rot. Out of clay, they make those utensils which are so indispensable in the pantry and which generically are named pots and plates. But what in thunder does it matter to me what they are called anyhow? Such is the clay. When clay becomes fluid, it is called mud. C'est mon affaire. Lena! Lena, show yourself to Miss Agnes. She knew you 10 years ago, Agnes, when you were still a happy, pretty young girl. Behold how she looks now. 5 children, drudgery, baby cries, hunger, ill treatment. See how beauty has perished and joy vanished in the fulfillment of duties, which should have brought that inner satisfaction which makes each line in a phase harmonious and fills the eye with a quiet glow.
Stop! Shut up!
That is what they all say, and if you keep silent, then they cry, "Speak, O restless humanity!"
Tell me your troubles, Lena.
No, I dare not. Then they will be made worse.
Who could be so cruel?
I dare not tell. For if I do, I shall be hit.
That is just what will happen. But I will speak, even though the quarantine master may knock out all my teeth. I will tell that justice is not always done. Agnes, daughter of heaven, do you hear music and dancing on the hill over there? Well, it is Lena, sister, who has come home from the city where she went astray. You understand? Now they are killing the fatted calf. But Lena, who stayed at home, has to slop pails and feed the pigs.
There is rejoicing because the stray has left the path of evil, not solely because she has returned. Bear that in mind.
But then they should give a ball and banquet every night for the spotless worker that never strayed into paths of error. Yet they do nothing of the kind. But when Lena has a free moment, she is sent to prayer meetings where she is berated for being not holy enough. Is this justice?
Your question is difficult to answer. You have too many variables.
That much the Count came to understand. He was sitting on his throne, and from its height, he could never make out what happened below. At last, complaints penetrated to his exalted ears, and then, one fine day, he disguised himself and descended unobserved among the crowds to find out what kind of justice they were getting.
I hope you don't think of me like that.
Let's talk about something else. Here come some visitors. Behold, young love. Perfect happiness. Bliss without limits. Pure rejoicing.
Beautiful Avon, where the springs of my youth were spent, where my first sweet dreams were dreamt. To thee I return, but lonely no longer. Ye hills and groves, thou sky o'erhead, thou mirroring sea, give greeting to her, my love, my bride, my love and my life.
See the light that surrounds them. Hear how the air is ringing with music. Eros!
It is Victoria.
Well, what if it is?
It is Victoria. My own is still mine, and nobody can see her. Wave the quarantine flag, I'll bring them in.
Their boat approaches. Come on, get out! But here everyone who is coming from plague-stricken places must stop.
The idea of speaking in such a manner, of acting in such a way, within the presence of 2 human beings united in love. Touch them not, lay no hands on love. It is treason. Woe to us. Everything beautiful must now be dragged down, dragged into the mud.
Oh God, what have we done?
You don't need to have done anything in order to encounter some of life's little problems.
So short-lived a joy and happiness.
How long do we have to stay here?
40 days and 40 nights.
Then I would rather drown.
To live here? among blackened hills and pigsties.
Love overcomes all, even sulfur fumes and carbolic acid.
The fires are being heated. Would you mind stepping back there and getting in?
That would please you, wouldn't it?
What? No. Of course, it was your happiness that was the cause of my suffering, but it doesn't matter. For I have graduated and have obtained a position over there. And in the fall I shall be teaching school. Teaching boys the same lessons I myself learned during my childhood and youth. What does twice 2 make? And how many times can 4 be evenly divided by 2? Until I get a pension 40 years later, when I don't have to do much at all, just wait for meals and newspapers and death. Is no one here entitled to a pension? Barring 2 times 2 equals 4 and all that is probably the worst thing of all. To begin school again when you've already graduated. To ask the same questions day after day until death comes. There's a pensioner there, waiting for death, I'm sure. I think he must be a captain who missed the rank of major, or an assistant judge not made chief. Many are called, but few are chosen.
Only if I had the paper here.
And he is only 54. He could probably just survive on the newspaper in the hope of food for 25 years. How awful.
What's awful about it?
Who knows? But now I shall have to teach boys that twice 2 is 4. And how many times 4 can be evenly divided by 2? And Victoria, whom I loved, and therefore wished all the happiness life could bring. Now you have happiness with him, and for this reason I suffer.
Do you think I can be happy when you are suffering?
Yes and no.
Perhaps it will soothe your pain to know I'm quarantined here. Does that help?
Why would I enjoy all of your suffering?
And do you think my happiness can be founded on your pain?
Humankind is to be pitied. All of us.
Everlasting on heaven, life is evil, humankind is to be pitied.